Hello everyone, I am Marc Gelé, the Aerospace and Defense Industry Lead for Accenture in Europe. I am very pleased to be part of this Paris Air Forum 2020 edition and to have the opportunity to share with you some thoughts on the aerospace and defense industry momentum in this COVID period. My main message will be a positive one on the resilience of our industry, on its perspective, and on the need to accelerate its digital transformation to seize all the opportunities that are in front of us. But first, let me start with the obvious statement that we are living in unprecedented times in the aerospace and defense industry now since 8 months. If we look at the revenue trend of our market or the market capitalization evolution during this period, the aerospace and defense industry is popping up as one of the 3 most impacted industries by the COVID, with travel and banking. The disruptions our industry is facing are unique due to their size, their nature, and their abruptness. It is forcing each of us to imagine a new future that will be very different from what we have known in the last 20 years. Before looking at what the future could look like, I will illustrate the challenges our industry is facing through feedback we receive from our clients and from a recent study Accenture conducted asking aerospace and defense executives to characterize the disruption that the pandemic brought to their business. 3 main patterns came out of their feedback. The first and biggest pandemic disruption that everyone outlined is related to the demand shock and drop, specifically in the commercial sector. This has been brutal and deep. Our research and analysis suggest that commercial aerospace revenue will decline by 37% this year compared to 2019. And Q3 results earnings calls of the last weeks confirm this trend, along with the lack of visibility on the future regarding the size and the duration of the recovery. This is a real paradigm shift for the aerospace commercial industry that used to operate with a very strong demand growth year after year and with an average 5 to 7 years of order book. Demand uncertainty and volatility will become the main driver of this industry, and that will have rippling effects on the way companies are operating toward their clients, their people, and their stakeholders. The second big impact is on the supply chain, with its operation and supplier network disruption. Here, no real surprise and nothing specific compared to other B2B or B2C companies impacted by the COVID, with supply chain being disrupted by the travel ban, the confinement, and distancing measures that our society and each company have been experiencing for 8 months. The specificity that makes this supply chain disruption more profound for aerospace and defense industry is that its supply chain is by nature global, and its supplier network is made of a multitude of small and medium companies that have less resilience and can, on their own, disrupt the entire value chain for one single part that they cannot deliver. After the demand shift and the supply chain disruption, the third main impact of the COVID period that has been highlighted by our aerospace and defense clients is on the workforce and its rotation need. It is about the massive introduction of home working capabilities. 40% of the respondents are declaring they want to scale collaborative cloud platform solution to enable home working. And it is also to deal with overcapacity in many parts of our industry and how to reposition the workforce based on future demand profiles. These 3 main disruptions on demand, on supply chain, and on the workforce have been massive for our industry and have created high liquidity and financing tensions. Each and every small and large company have faced the situation with a lot of energy and creativity in the last month, resulting in an impressive resilience. We all have in mind many examples of initiatives that we believed would not have been possible before the COVID, and then went through and saved situations created by the pandemic. Government stimulus programs have played an important role in this resilience, with differences from one country to another. In that regard, the US government has continued to be very supportive for the industry during the COVID period, and not only for the defense sector. In Europe, the public support for our industry has been of a different magnitude per country. And in France, the overall Plan de Relance, combined with specific announcements in June for our industry, has been one of the strongest in Europe. Now, when we project ourselves in the future, all studies show that the recovery will take time in our industry, with probably a different dynamic between commercial and defense sector. For defense, the supply chain disruption is the main problem, whereas the demand has remained quite stable. Once the confinement restriction is over, our studies show that this sector will continue to grow above 2% per year over the next 5 years, as regional tensions continue to exist across the globe, and as it seems, defense platform replacement, both in the United States and in Europe, are remaining a budget priority for our governments. For commercial aerospace, the perspectives are much more different. Apart from the uncertainty on the 737 MAX, there is a consensus that the floor has been touched and is now solid. There are even been small signs of rebound this month, with cautious production ramp-up at some OEMs. But there is a high probability that the volatility will remain and that the recovery will take time. In Europe, no one is expecting to be back to pre-COVID volume prior to 2024 or 2025, which is 3 to 4 years from now. So overall, the industry current situation and perspective are very challenging. In that context, what our clients are telling us on their solution to be more resilient in the future and to accelerate their path to recovery. Many CEOs and executives we are meeting are convinced that accelerating the digital transformation of their company and of the industry is part of the solution, and that the COVID has been a trigger for this digital acceleration. At Accenture, we share this conviction. Our research shows that the top 19% of aerospace and defense companies, whom we call champions, achieve 35% return on their digital investment, which is 4 times bigger than the rest of the industry. So what this digital transformation of the industry is about? We see 3 digital transformation imperatives that can make a difference. The first one is around the digitization of the enterprise value chain itself. It's about increasing the efficiency of the operation and address new portfolio imperatives, leveraging digital technologies like artificial intelligence, machine learning, digital twins, IoT, augmented and virtual reality, blockchain, and many others. In that digitization effort, the supply chain and the cloud are 2 digitalization areas that are extremely important for our industry moving forward. The digital supply chain is addressing the supply chain disruption challenges we were mentioning earlier, with digital control tower capabilities, demand-driven MRPs, new shop floor data connection that anticipate and fix disruption while rendering the supply chain much more efficient and client-centric. The journey to cloud is also representing a huge potential for our industry, both for commercial and defense sectors. Cloud is about IT and operation cost efficiency, but also, and maybe more importantly, around the possibility to define new connected products and services that can be introduced to the market faster and with higher agility. The automotive industry has understood these cloud benefits and is now aggressively going to the cloud to fully get the benefits through their mobility agenda with electrical, autonomous, and connected vehicles. It is important for our aerospace and defense industry to also move to the cloud. And this goes with finding solutions on the sensitive discussion around data security and sovereignty that the new Digital Services Act, prepared by the European Commission, should help to solve. The second digital transformation imperative is around co-innovation. This should be the main enabler to reinvent new way of working and to reinvent the industry portfolio of products and services. We see this co-innovation imperative as already a reality in our large aerospace and defense industry players, like in France, where Airbus, Safran, Thales are trusting each year the patent podium with the automotive industry. The effort in innovation investment must continue and be expanded to aerospace and defense small and medium businesses. It goes also with better collaboration with technology partners that have a big investment and innovation capabilities. The third digital imperative is around creating new business models in close collaboration with all members of the industry. This imperative found a good illustration through the COVID, with the need to find collective solution to an overwhelming problem that was impacting the entire industry and is requiring alternative models. Many CEOs, institutions, and associations of our industry, along with some government, have been claiming for higher collaboration between airlines, airports, MODs, OEMs, and aerospace and defense suppliers in order to create joint alternatives for the sake of the entire industry. This need for higher collaboration in the aviation value chain will be even more critical for creating the connected products and services of tomorrow, from their design to their manufacturing and their usage. This will rely on new business models where technology will play a bigger part and where parties will probably have to share differently the investment and the produced value. Green aircraft is one very good illustration of what could represent a new business model with higher and different collaboration across all the aviation value chain. A good way to foster the emergence of this new business model and different type of collaboration is to bet on new industry programs at regional level. Government and regional institutions need to play their share here, as well as the private sector. For our aerospace and defense industry, and for Europe, as an example, the new FCAS defense platform program, or the emergence of European initiatives around the battery or the hydrogen, are very good signs of this possible reinvention. They will come into reality if, and only if, the industry is playing collective. The digital transformation is clearly an ingredient for stronger resilience and a path for recovery in our industry. We have seen an acceleration of this digital transformation with the COVID, more specifically in large aerospace and defense corporations. The industry will get full return on this digital transformation strategy by continuing investing in it, including for small and medium companies that constitute the heart of the aerospace and defense supply chain network. As a conclusion of this brief keynote, I would like to convey a message of optimism of our aerospace and defense industry. It is true that this industry has been one of the most severely impacted by the COVID, and probably for a long time due to the demand drop and change. But this is also a unique opportunity to reinvent this industry with a new demand that will embrace new society imperatives like higher sustainability and higher responsibility. This will be enabled by the digital transformation of our industry through digitization of the value chain, through co-innovation, and through new business models where playing collective will be essential, especially in Europe. The aerospace and defense industry has proven in the past its excellence, and in the last months, its resilience. All the ingredients of success exist today for a bright future, even if the journey will be challenging. I feel very privileged to be part of this industry, and I am optimistic on its future. Thank you for your attention, and I wish you all a good continuation in this Paris Air Forum seminar.